So we're doing our first small business spotlight on 305 Vox Populi, and a good friend of mine, Michelle Rodriguez from Lumina Massage, who does a great job here in our community. One thing I always respect about Michelle is that she's a believer in what she does, right? It's not just, hey, we're going to open up a business, we're going to make money. No, no, no. She's always doing videos, educating people, helping people, talking about about wellness, how to feel better. I mean, so that is something that I really respect
Thank
in
you.
you and in business owners that do that. So I wanted to break the ice with one very important question.
Okay.
How has the COVID-19 pandemic
Oh, holy smokes.
impacted you, impacted your business here in the town of Miami Lakes?
Oh, man. Okay, so we're going to go down that road.
I just think it's it because every story is so unique.
It
How
is,
you've
and
had
it's
to pivot
meaningful.
and change and
Pivot is okay. So, number one, I'm just going to say for those people that know me, I am not good at pivoting. I am the solid, true, like I plow ahead, slow and steady. And one of my weaknesses, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm starting out with this, is that I'm just not good with change. I like put in my roots deep and it takes a while for me to shift. However, because I have such a wonderful network of entrepreneurs that are also friends, they came alongside of me through some really dark moments during COVID when my office was shut down. And actually, Lumina Massage shut down like a week earlier than the state of Florida mandated. At the time, I was listening to some really great podcasts by some business leaders in the massage industry, and they were all like, shut down, shut down, shut down. And I thought, no, do I really have to? But ethically, it just felt like the right thing to do. So I took the plunge and I shut down before we were mandated to. And I was glad, but it was hard. So in those moments where no massage therapists were permitted to work, I mean, every place from the biggest spas on the shores of Miami Beach down to the massage franchises, like no one was allowed to work. It was a lot of stillness, like uncomfortable stillness, because it didn't have an end date. And when you are someone that loves working with your hands, it's really hard. So, I did. I had some friends rally around me who are very good at pivoting. And they're like, this is how we're going to make the shift. This is so exciting. And I was like, I don't see the excitement. But they did because they're visionaries and they have that gift. And I'm so grateful for them because they really just, just kind of held me up during those times. And it was great. And I learned a lot about myself and I did pivot. So yeah, it was definitely a time to explore, but things did birth out of that.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting, you as a business owner, is the self awareness, right? Of understanding
Yes.
your strengths, the areas you got to improve upon. We just did a retreat here in the town of Miami Lakes this past weekend. We did a strategic plan retreat, and part of the retreat, I had to do something called the Cloverleaf, where we all had to do a self assessment online. My council members, the staff members, and that was like breaking the ice. That was
Yeah.
understanding. For example, where I came out, I'm somebody who wants to get things done now. Let's move forward. But then I see that some of my council members are the complete opposite. They're like, look, we want to take our time. We
Yeah.
want to study this. So that self awareness helps you grow later on. So I
Absolutely.
think that tidbit that you shared is going to make you stronger later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
You know?
totally. And it has. And I'm so, so grateful for community. I'm a big proponent of community within entrepreneurs, within women, within whoever, whatever your community, your spiritual community, whatever community you have going on, because we can't do everything all the time. So we do have those strengths and weaknesses. How beautiful is it when you could be like, I'm really struggling in this. And then people come right alongside of you and be like, I got you. Let's do this together. It's beautiful.
It's powerful, which is
Mm-hmm.
so important. I agree with you. Being here in Miami Lakes, I mean, and talking about community, what does the Miami Lakes community mean to you and your brand? I mean, what do you see the town and how businesses grow? What are your thoughts on that?
So when I first opened up Lumina Massage in 2014, I was working at Canyon Ranch Hotel and Spa. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Okay.
Canyon Ranch is an amazing brand, like wellness, luxury hospitality. So I got in the same line as like the Ritz Carlton, Canyon Ranch, et cetera, et cetera. The Mandarin Oriental, also a wonderful brand. But I was living on the beach, and on the beach, there's like a yoga studio in every corner, and there's like a green smoothie place in every corner, and it was very health conscious. And when I made my way to Miami Lakes, it was just through a series of events where I really, really felt like it was divine intervention that I came here because all the doors were closing everywhere else. And people are like, oh, you should just stay on Miami Beach. You'll make so much money. And that's where all like the health conscious people. But I landed in Miami Lakes and I remember I opened my doors. My first office was super, super small. And I thought to myself, to to the people of Miami Lakes understand wellness because wellness as an industry in the larger spectrum, when we're talking about the United States, when you think of wellness, we think of New York City. New York is on top of its wellness game. California, some areas of Texas, just really, really in tune with what's going on. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's never going to work here. Miami Lakes, are you going to accept me? Little did I know that there is already a hunger here for people seeking out healthier lifestyles and options. And it took a while because I was, a micro business just starting out. I wasn't in a high traffic area. So I really had to learn social media. I really had to learn how to market myself, which thankfully I was pretty good at, and just put the word out there. And man, Miami Lakes responded. They were like, thank you. Thank you for, please don't go anywhere else. Because, the Gables, super health conscious, right? You have University of Miami there. Broward has an excellent healthcare system. But I was just so pleasantly surprised at how much support I've gotten in Miami Lakes.
If you build it, they will come, right? And you provide quality
Yes,
and
thank you.
honest and passion. I think people look for that. I know that there's another gentleman here in our community that he does his own brand of medicines and vitamins, and I know people enjoy and they look for wellness. So I
Yeah,
appreciate the value that you've added to throughout our community. So I,
thank
I
you.
know you have a clear passion for writing. It's demonstrated through your blogs.
Thank you.
Do you have future goals, aspirations that you want to pursue through your writing? We know your business is phenomenal. Lumina Massage is phenomenal, but it seems that your writing skills are on par with what you're doing over there at Lumina.
Thank you. I do love to write. I love words. I actually get excited. I'm subscribed to dictionary.com and they send you a word of the day. This is so nerdy. And whenever they send me a word of the day, I'm like, ooh, what's the word of the day? But whatever, everybody has their thing, right?
That's the growth mindset, right? Always
That's right.
getting better,
That's
learning. So
right.
for sure.
So my writing, yeah, I definitely see myself as a writer and a speaker. I've been gifted in those areas. I think it's my duty to nourish those gifts and share them with the world. So I'm just looking for opportunities. Right now I'm actually looking for a literary agent in a publishing company that would be willing to take me on as a fledgling writer. So I have a lot of ideas about wellness, about women's healthcare, and just a couple of other things. But
Oh,
but yeah.
I got a project for you to work on. The Matter Lakes Bears, the team right here, they're working on a commencement speech that I got to give soon. So
Okay,
that for
I'll
sure,
take
I'm gonna tell them
it.
to give you a call because you're definitely a extremely talented writer.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
yeah, that's so important. So I see a lot of your blogs, and it has to do with expecting mothers and those
Hmm.
massages. And I mean, talk to us. How did that come about? Because I don't think that exists anywhere else here
Right.
locally, right? In Northwest States, somebody that specializes
Hmm.
and understands that so well. So just talk to us to that portion of your business and some advice that you give to those expecting mothers that come in to Lumina?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, we love our moms so much. So just I want to clarify because Lumina Massage is does specialize in women's health. So we do see a lot of pregnancy. We're starting to see more and more postpartum, which is typically when a woman is, gives birth, and but it's not just after she gives birth. It's like a year, up to 3 years after she gives birth. So we are discovering that, if we had to calculate it, like our prenatal clientele is like here, postpartum is like here, and it was like a Netflix carousel, it would be like trending. Like this is popular and this is trending. It's fast.
That's a good problem to have in a business, right?
It
So
is. It is. We're shocked at the moment we started educating on the blog, the moment we started talking about postpartum care, women were just like, oh, and they would just flood in, and it was an unexpected surprise. It was wonderful. Um, but yeah, postpartum care is something that we're really rooting for and really wanting to gain awareness about because, as you said, there's not a lot of providers in the area that specialize in this type of care. And the world of birthing, maternity care, and postpartum is very different. There's vocabulary. There are doctors that we network with. There are conversations that don't normally take place in other massage facilities, like placenta care, things like that. So it's an entire world, and we're just so happy that we can serve moms in the
and
community.
and talking about an opportunity, right? You were talking about that business opportunity, how it's getting closer. Obviously, there's been challenges. So, wanted to ask you, what's been the biggest challenge you dealt with within your career? How were you able to overcome it? And more importantly, what did you learn from that? Because
Oh,
every challenge, I see it as an opportunity, right?
yes.
Adversity, we grow. So, if you could share with us some of that.
Sure. So I have developed, not developed, is not the right word. I have had more muscular injuries than I can count. And every time I get injured, I say, God, what are you trying to teach me with this? And I become a student of that injury. And it works because, you can teach what you've overcome. So I've had a lot of people don't know this, but I've had carpal tunnel 3 times in my career.
Wow.
For those that don't know what carpal tunnel is, it's an extremely painful condition where, with the repetitive use of your hands, a lot of hairstylists, because they're doing this all day, or a lot of massage therapists suffer from wrist injuries. So, what I've learned from it is to set boundaries,
Got it.
and say, it's okay. My body can only see a certain amount of people and still deliver the quality care. In fact, I remember when I first started out, I said to my colleagues, I'm only going to work this many days a week and see this number of people. I was criticized. I was told I was never going to make it. I was told, that I had to work and keep working. And I said, no, I have to. How can I preach to other people to take care of their bodies if I'm not willing to set boundaries? The moment I set boundaries and I recognized what my body was feeling and telling me, I flourished. And maybe it's scarcity. It wasn't intentional. I wasn't trying to manipulate. But the fact that I was being true to my body and I delivered quality, whether you were my first person on the table or my last, the same level of strength, conversation, care was always there. Unlike other times in my career where if you were my first person on the table, you would get the best of me. And if you were my last, you would get the worst of me. Because I was so tired at the end of the day, but I was really pushing myself beyond what I can give. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to my clients. They were paying the same amount of money for a quality massage, and like, why should they get less? And they weren't experiencing the true quality of my work, which was important to me. So, yeah.
No, that's spot on. I tell my staff at the restaurant all the time. Hey, it doesn't matter if it's 6:30 in the morning or it's, you know what I mean, that the or if it's 3 o'clock. You always have to be, and even if it's a, if you have to step out, you got to take a break, but you got to make sure you treat everybody the same, and
Yeah.
that's so important for a business and for consistency and quality. Michelle, as we wrap up, any questions that you have for me, or
Yes, I
okay,
do. I have them written down.
got it.
Okay, so when was your last professional massage and how was your experience?
Oh, it's been a long time. I
Okay.
think the last one was a couples massage, my wife and I. But yeah, it's been since COVID. It's kind of like been. Think about it. I know it's been tough, so
Hmm.
everybody's been very careful. I don't think. I think it's been like over a year,
Okay. Okay.
definitely. But yeah, the last one was a couples one. Yeah, and it was good. It was good.
Okay, good. I'm so glad. I always am so happy when people have had a good, positive experience with massage therapy, as opposed because it's easier to like, I don't know, reach people unless they've had a bad experience, and then it's kind of harder to like redeem the industry. But that's good. Okay, my next question is, what is your version of self care?
Self care for me is taking some time every day to sort of meditate, or just kind of have some mindfulness, right? That is so powerful. I think too many, what I try to do every day is the biggest mistake we all make, and I'm sure everybody does it, is that we're constantly on our
Yeah.
phones. So I try to, it gets to a point of the day where I put it to the side.
Okay.
I put it on silent. Obviously, my town phone, I can't do that. If there's an emergency, I got to know what's
Yes.
going on. But the mindfulness aspect is it, if I take a walk, when everybody goes to sleep, I'll go for a 3 mile walk or whatever it is. But to take an opportunity every day to just kind of sit back, think about everything that happened today, internalize everything, but declutter the brain, because
Good.
I think it's so important for the next day to kind of be at peace, to kind of, so I've learned that as I've gotten older, especially in public service,
Hmm.
you have to do that every day, sort of declutter, sort of have be a bit more, embrace mindfulness and
Right.
meditation, whatever you may call it. But that is my way of doing that every single day. Be
Good.
it a walk, I ride bike, I jog, whatever it is. But I make sure that I do that every day.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. It's super important.
It is. It is. We use, believe it or not, at every single council meeting, we have, we're the only city that does this. We have someone that comes in and talks for a minute about mindfulness.
Okay.
So yeah, if you ever want to come in and do that at our
I'd
council meetings,
love
you're more than
to.
welcome. So
Thank
every
you.
meeting, before we do the prayer, before after we do the prayer, and after we pledge allegiance to the U.S. flag, we do 1 minute of mindfulness. We used to do meditation. Not everybody was into it, right?
Yeah.
Where somebody would come in, everybody would close their eyes or
Right.
meditate, but we do a minute of mindfulness before we get into the meeting because it helps set the tone
Good.
for a productive meeting.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really important. Good. In Miami Lakes, is Miami Lakes doing anything specific to help female-owned businesses?
Specific one thing that we've done, that we host every year, especially on the Women's of Distinction Award. I
Yes.
mean, and that's something that's helped us be a bit more mindful of the power that women have in our communities, the
Mhm.
the power of business in different sectors. So what we did was we picked 10, 12, 13 categories, and we make sure every year we honor one. This year we went a little bit further. They actually did a whole entire video, but put them on a different platform to showcase, hey, to inspire those young girls. For example, I rarely give proclamations
Mhm.
in our community because I think proclamations are something very, very sacred. You got to do
Mhm.
something meaningful.
Yeah.
There was a young girl this year at HML who won the girls' state championship in wrestling. But after she won the girls' state championship in wrestling, she took on the boys. She won the district's boys championship. She won the regional, and she went to states. So
Good.
we put her on a different platform because we want to show,
Yeah.
hey, you can do it. You know what I mean? We're
Yes.
all we're all the same. We all have the same opportunities, and we can do it if you put your mind to it. If you work hard, and that's what we kind of want to showcase. Create an environment where, hey, we're all the same. We're all going to be judged
Right.
by our work ethic, by our talent. So I think that's something that we've been doing for the past several years, and I think it's been working.
I love that flexibility and that creativity behind that because it's such a great transition and it really boosts the confidence of young women. So that's awesome. Thank you for
100%.
that.
Definitely.
Okay, so my last question is this is a little bit for me because I'm a foodie. What is the best food experience that you've had during your travels?
Wow. During my travels, that's I mean, I've had recently, not too long ago, we there were a couple spots in Arizona and in specifically like the Sedona area that
Mm-hmm.
are amazing, and talk about a holistic area. They're
Yes.
very into like the energy
Yep.
and all that. So yeah, the food experience in that area was it. What happens is that we're sort of in a bubble in the 305 that we got everything,
Yeah.
and it's hard when we go to other communities, when we go to, we're like, you're always comparing it to what we got here
Yes.
because everything that you want from, I mean, you name the nationalities here. So for me, that question is tough because again, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We're so fortunate that we have access to everything. So even when I travel, I eat at places and I always look back and I'm comparing it
Yes.
to somewhere here in Miami, and I always find myself saying, it's I got it back home. But that's not the same case for everybody around the nation. If you
Yes.
live, my wife's from Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
from one of the suburbs of Chicago, and they don't have great Cuban restaurants. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have the access to the different diversity in foods that
Right.
we have in the 305. So
Right.
for us, I think our palate is so fortunate because we have so many great
We are. Yeah.
opportunities here in Dade County, from all the way from the Keys to
Mm-hmm.
the county line. I mean, you have one of the top Vietnamese restaurants like walking distance from here.
Yeah.
You have incredible Mexican cuisine. You have Brazilian. You have brigadeiros. You have this, that. So I think it's always tough for me to compare because I live in Miami. So
Yeah.
my palate's been here locally. It's tough to compare, but great question on that. But it is I always look back to what we have going on
Good.
here in
Good.
Miami.
And I think my last one would be would you be willing to, I guess, create more awareness for self care for moms? Is that something that you guys would be interested in doing?
Yeah, absolutely. We do. So one thing we were doing before COVID, and maybe we can do this with you now. We were doing yoga at the parks and different
Mm-hmm.
things. Maybe we could do like a whole seminar with you at one of an open space. I've realized that when we do things outdoors, people's energy is a little different, right?
It
So
is. Yeah.
that I guess the connection to nature, whatever it is, but people really love that, and it's very very successful. So
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
game. Whatever
you.
we can do, I would love to partner up on that
Thank you.
initiative, and if we can do it specifically like in an open green space, something I think it'll be
Yes, take off our shoes
I
and totally walk barefoot on the ground. Lumina Massage is actually doing a mental health awareness series that I would love to let people know. We're doing it for the first half of the year where we're interviewing mental health professionals about, yeah, not just women's issues, but just also how to stay healthy and how well, not post COVID, I shouldn't say that yet, but but how the world is kind of, what it looks like now in terms of like the residue or the results of 2020 and how people are, how mental health issues, how people are handling them now. So we just kicked off that series, so we're doing it on Instagram Live, maybe twice a month. So yeah, and we're also interviewing other moms to support their businesses in the community.
So on April 13th, I want you to be my guest at a regular council meeting. I want you to talk about that because we all focus way too much, I think, on the pandemic, and rightfully so. But I think there's another crisis in our nation, which is the mental health crisis. We
Yeah.
had a guest before, but you're specifically talking about women's health and
Mm-hmm.
women's mental health. So
Yeah.
I think that's very powerful. So April 13th, I want you to be at the council meeting. I am
Okay.
inviting you as a guest, and I
Thank you.
want you to talk to the entire community
I'd love that.
about that. But
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you coming in. I appreciate your passion
Thank you.
more than anything. You're a believer in what you do, and that is something we got to inspire more folks to do that because you hit on the head. You started it not because of the money, but because of
Mm-hmm.
your passion. Money will come if you're passionate
Yes.
about something. You do it well. You provide good quality. The
Yes.
money will come.
You
That is a
excel.
fact.
Strive to excel.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of there's a lot of folks out there are so short-sighted. They're like, let me try to make as much money as I can right now. Forget about the quality, forget about this. And I think you get it. You're doing it right. And specifically helping out women is so important, especially today's day and age during COVID. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time
Thank
with
you.
me today and spotlighting Lumina Massage. If you could tell us your address and your phone number where folks can find you.
Okay, sure. So please visit luminamassage.com. That is the primary hub where you can learn about everything that we're doing. We also have a very active Instagram feed, thanks to Chrisline, my assistant, who is wonderful. Shout out to Chrisline. And yes, so we are located in the White House building in Miami Lakes. For
Nice.
those that don't know where it is, if you have kids, you know where Nicholas Children's is and Baptist. So we're on that road. So it's 15165 Northwest 77th Avenue in Miami Lakes, 33014. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Take care.